Thanks for checking out this film review from the Dead Man's Party podcast. You could find our full archive of every unedited show if you subscribe to The Skeleton Crew on iTunes, Spotify, Podbean, or wherever you listen to podcasts. Be sure to support Dead Man's Party on Patreon. Link in the description. Enjoy the review. What's up? This is Dead Man's Party. My name is Al, and I eat Green Berets for breakfast, and I'm very hungry. And I'm with the guy who is dead tired, the Ghoul. What's up, Ghoul?
Listen, loyalty is very touching, but it's not the most important thing in your life right now. What's important is gravity!
Say a little louder and get fucked. Yes, we are reviewing Commando 1985. Wow. This, again, would you say, Ghoul, this is the exact movies that you were thinking of when we started Dead Man's Party?
Fucking 100%, dude. I'm so happy that we've made it here.
Yeah, Chris will not be joining us today, but he's not that huge on this movie anyway, so he's not. He said he would rather have sat on the grenade that Arnold dove away from in this movie. So, don't worry, guys. You're not missing much. This was directed by Mark Lester, writer Joe Loeb, Matthew Wiseman, and Steven DeSouza. Starring Schwarzenegger, Ray Don Chong, Tommy Chong's daughter, and some chick. Dan Herrera as Arius. He's like the dude who's like Jewish, but he's like making believe he's like a Central American guy.
Yeah, I always die whenever he show like after, because I've definitely seen him in things before this. Like he's in the Addams Family, Alien Resurrection. He's in tons of stuff. But then seeing him in this, I'm like, I can believe it's the same guy because he looks the same. But I can't believe that voice that he's doing.
Valverde. Vernon Wells from Weird Science and Mad Max is Bennett. James Olsen is General Franklin Kirby.
You recognize who he is?
I should, right? I feel like He's
the priest in Amityville too.
Yeah, okay. David Patrick Kelly is Sally, or Sully is how it's really spelled. Everyone knows him. He's like the main bad guy in The Crow.
Yeah, he's in this Twin Peaks, The Crow. He's in tons of random shit.
Tons.
Yeah.
Oh, and the
Warriors.
Yeah. Alyssa Milano is Jenny, a young 12-year-old Alyssa Milano. Bill Duke as Kook. He's from Predator.
You say is Bill Duke as Kook?
Isn't it Kook?
It's Cook.
Cook?
Yeah.
I could have sworn it was like Kook.
Well, the way he says it is Kook, but it's Cook.
Oh, I just took it the way he said it. It's Cook? Okay. Yeah. Kook.
Duke is Kook.
Duke is Kook. Oh my god. Who else can we talk about?
There's that other guy who he was in a couple of movies that we've already done. I don't know his name, but the wrong with the shot in the head.
Oh, yeah. So we did, what was it, Marked for Death?
Yeah, and then I thought he showed up in one of them. I couldn't remember, though. There's been so many now at this point.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, yeah, so this is Commando. Wow. I don't know about you, dude, but this movie, when I was, I'm going to say 10 years old to 15, maybe 18, whatever, I feel like I've seen this as a kid, or maybe even earlier. I probably saw this at 7 years old. Back in the 80s, the parents didn't care too much, so I saw this in like 86, 87, and I must have seen this movie like 50 times before I was 20 years old.
I have the core childhood memory of the first time that I was able to watch this movie. Like you said, I was like 6 or 7. It was like probably like 2000, 2001. And I distinctly remember because it was like an interesting time in my very young life where we were moving out of town that I originally was raised in, and then we were in between moving into the town that I lived in for a little while after that. So my family was kind of split up. It was like me and my parents and one of my sisters living with my grandparents, and then the rest of my siblings were with our cousins, a couple. They were like in the same town but a couple streets over, but they would come hang with us on weekends and stuff. And I remember one of my older sisters took me to Blockbuster, and I saw this poster, the typical like the one I have on my shirt that can't be, but the famous image that the poster for this movie, and I'd already like loved Arnold at this point because he'd already just been a thing. This is like 2001, so we're talking like
so he's already
he's established. So for a kid like me, I was like, I want that, and I remember it was a Friday night we got it, and then I watched it Saturday morning, and I fucking fell in love with this thing. I spent the rest of the day, I'm probably starting like playing with my GI Joes, like reenacting this whole movie.
Yeah, it really is. I'm going to say some bold statements. So I'll say for now, for a kid, this is a perfect movie.
Yes.
Right? Like, what else do you want? Like, as a kid, our ages at that time watching this, Arnold was larger than life. This movie is the perfect vehicle for Arnold. He is better now, but he wasn't like the greatest actor at this time.
Yeah.
And they knew exactly what to do with him. Like, the way they were feeding him all these one-liners, the way it was just macho bullshit, like she says.
Yeah.
Everything about this is phenomenal. It's just like the perfect vehicle. He looks perfect for the part. Everything about it's perfect, right? Like, the villains are perfect. The casting. So what do you think of, like, so we talk about soundtracks a lot. This one gets brought up a lot to people because they're always like, what are we on, a fucking Jamaican island or something with the steel drums or something? Like on vacation?
I fucking love this score so much. Right? I love this. There are times when, like, if it's like, if I'm playing a video game, I'll just throw it on YouTube and it'll just play. I love the fucking, like, especially in like when it kicks in the beginning, you just fuck it like that. You get that kind of like not necessarily like a whistle, but it's like that. We've heard it in a couple, like Predator 2, Marked for Death. You hear that, and it just brings. It's like, again, a character in the movie is also the score.
It really is,
especially towards like the end when it's getting faster. It's like no. I love that shit so much. Oh,
it's amazing. Even like those sentimental moments when he's just hanging out with his daughter and they're like eating ice cream and all that.
Feeding deer.
They're feeding the deer, yeah. One of the best. Okay, so this opens up, like, the way this movie opens up is it kicks off pretty intensely. Like, it's garbage day, or it's not really garbage day, and this guy's sleeping and they just pull up and he says, hey, wait. And they take like Uzis and murder this guy right in the broad daylight in the middle of the street in the morning.
It's amazing.
And drive away. Like, none of it even makes any sense, because it's like, well, what if he didn't even hear the garbage truck?
I was just about to say that.
What'd you have done then?
They were just going to wait for him until he woke up. Like, hey, you missed garbage day. You want to go get those and come back out and we'll just load up real quick?
Would you ring his doorbell? Like, why the elaborate garbage man thing to kill him is what I'm trying to figure out.
That's pretty funny that you bring that up. Yeah, it's like, what if they just like went to his house dressed as garbage men and were like, hey, do you have trash for us to take?
Like, why couldn't they just pull a Terminator and just ring his doorbell and shoot him?
Yeah.
Sarah Connor, you know?
Yes. Yeah, oh my god. I never thought of that. That's funny.
It's so weird, right? This elaborate thing. Then you get like this kook. I'm so used to calling him kook. Cook is buying a car, and the best thing about it is the price. We're already starting with the one-liners, right? And even though the one-liner even before that, he goes, I thought you'd miss me. Don't worry.
Ew.
We won't.
Oh.
And then they feel the need to shoot him more when he's on the street dead.
Yeah, they go up to him and just even more. I'm like, holy shit.
Yeah, don't run away or nothing so nobody finds you.
And they're in possibly the slowest getaway vehicle you could have, a fucking trash truck.
So then, you don't even know who or what, but this guy dies on a tugboat.
Yeah, Bennett,
and you're like, oh, okay.
I always like crack up at this 80s like plot of when they're bombing someone and they pull out the fucking remote with the most massive antenna known to man to like reach it, and it's funny because like Bennett's getting on the boat and he like looks up and they're both just staring at him like. Granted, obviously, what we know now, they're in on it. But if the first time watching this, you think like, oh, what's this really nice dressed man and then this other shady guy doing on this dock where all these like rugged types are?
Right. It's kind of obvious that maybe they had something to do with it. They're not even hiding it. I always, as a kid, try to figure out, how does Bennett get off? I used to like do like I wish I had a stopwatch. Like, wait a minute. So from the second he's turning the wheel and sees him till the second he presses the button, what happens in between that Bennett lives is what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, and there's like, I can't imagine, like, the only way off that boat, you'd have to jump off of it, right?
And no one saw him swimming away?
Yeah, exactly. I've also always wondered that.
Yeah, it was just weird. So Arnold comes out in the most badass, amazing intro to an action movie ever created.
300%, dude.
How many times have you walked through the woods with a tree over your shoulder?
If you count a tree as about a 4-pound branch, probably a few times.
6, right?
Yeah, maybe. Like, but not a full-grown tree in one hand and then a chainsaw in my other hand.
Dude, I would be like struggling running through the woods with a chainsaw in my hand. That's that heavy.
I know.
I'd be like, God, this thing is heavy. This guy has a tree and a chainsaw.
Fucking crazy.
I just couldn't believe it. But all I know is we're treated to the bicep as soon as he gets out there. And then we get to this heartwarming little montage, which is to establish the closeness of him and Jenny. And I'll say this is going to sound so dumb. So growing up, even as a kid, when I used to watch that part, and the way he's smiling and they're like dipping the ice creams into each other's noses.
Yeah.
Deep down, I never thought about it out loud or anything, even in my mind. But now looking back, I envied all those moments. And I always kind of wanted something like that in my life.
Really?
Yeah, and it's weird that we're reviewing this now, days before my daughter is ever being born. You know, it's weird. So,
oh, wow. That's like it comes full circle.
Right. And like, yeah, and that's the kind of things I envisioned when having a daughter and stuff like that. And I always wanted a daughter, not a son. And I feel like this movie's a big part of that. Yeah.
No shit.
So I'm gonna have to, of course, recreate this, right?
Yeah, and you're gonna have to get the arms a little bigger now, even though they're already big enough. But
yeah, they're not that big, right? They're okay.
Yeah, no, you're good. Wow, that's crazy.
Forget the arms, dude. I'm gonna have to find a tame deer. What am I gonna feed? A dog in my video?
Can you actually, like, I need this, like, 10 years down the road. I'm holding you to this. If we're still in contact 10 years, I'm holding you to this.
Well, we've been in contact for the last 10. We'll be good.
Yeah, true. 12, actually, yeah. If I had known that, I would have been your surrogate child. You could have done these things with.
God, we could have made a video. You'd be like, yeah, I'll do a Commando video. Sure, I'll be your child, I guess. Whatever, as long as we can do something.
Yeah.
So yeah, why? I gotta know, why were they sharing each other's ice cream when they both got vanilla?
I didn't see. I see. It's funny you bring this up because I didn't have like anything like this as a childhood, but I didn't have like a non-loving child, like a very good childhood. I still have a very good relationship with my parents now, but like we never were like that, like, and just like throwing stuff in each other's faces or whatever.
Oh, I know, never, no.
Yeah, so that's why it was always kind of awkward to me seeing Arnold do that, because you don't phase him as that type because he's a fucking giant.
Gentle giant.
Yeah, but he actually, like, knowing how the trivia you said about how he actually really was protective of Alyssa Milano on the set and everything.
Yeah.
It's totally believable. It's kind of like it's same thing with Kindergarten Cop. I actually genuinely believe he's like having a fun time with those kids.
Yeah, I do. I definitely do. Yeah, that's just a nice moment. He's like throwing her in this pool that he seemingly built. It's like made out of wood. It's like a rectangle.
I have envied this house my entire life.
Oh, dude, the whole house. I love how he runs on the fucking roof and it leads to the door of his daughter's bedroom.
Yeah. Well, this is just getting deep into it, which I fucking shouldn't, but like it's almost like he built that house to be
an escape.
Exactly, yeah, in case of emergency kind of thing.
Wild, yeah. Maybe you're right. Yeah, it's an interesting life. So he's there because he was, in the army. He did a lot of, crazy jobs, made enemies all over the world. So when people like him retire from the army, which they can do early, they're not like us where we got to work till you're 65.
I'm from the generation that won't even be able to retire.
Oh, I know. That sucks. Hopefully things change, dude. But, yeah, so he had to retire into seclusion. Like, how does he go food shopping? How does he do anything?
Right. He must have, imagine there's, a whole side character who they could have had as the sidekick instead of the girl who, is his, in the city person. Like, he could have had it as, that would have been funny.
So, why don't they just call him Girl George and forget the whole confusion?
That's so old, Dad.
It was old then in 1985?
I don't think so, because I feel like that was when Culture Club was, like, really in their prime.
So, Boy George is a guy, right?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So what was he, like, he did drag or something? I never got into that.
Yeah, I mean, I like a few of their songs, but as far as the look, it was just the 80s. He was just kind of just into, like
how it's flamboyant, but you're still straight or whatever?
Right, yeah, kind of like some of those hair metal bands that looked like very, like, feminine, but they had some of the most fucking hardest music that was coming out at the time.
Or like David Bowie, like...
Yeah, right, yeah.
Something like that, okay.
Yeah,
so that's what he's doing.
Perfect, yeah. I gotta say, there's something that's bothered me since childhood was the sandwiches.
What's in this?
And he's like, you don't want to know. I've wanted to know ever since I first saw this
Jenny,
movie.
What's in it? I need to know now. It's so bad, I don't want to know what I'm eating.
Yeah, I want to know. I've been dying to fucking know ever since I first saw this movie.
Well, a lot of people, including my wife, like to point out that, this is her opinion, that it's inappropriate for Arnold to be kissing Alyssa Milano on her mouth. Now, I don't know if she's saying it from an actor standpoint that...
Yeah, is it an actor or character standpoint?
Right, like if it's your daughter, like I said to her, well, I'll be kissing Valerie, I'm sure. And she goes, well, yeah, but I think you should be done with the mouth kissing around 6 years old, not 12. She goes, after that, just do like a side thing on her cheek.
Yeah, no, I mean, it's also like...
I thought it was cute.
Yeah, every household is different. It doesn't bother me, but I also, like, I guess I can see how some people would perceive it as weird, though. So I can, yeah.
I think the main problem is that it's not his real kid.
Yeah, that's true.
And we know. But, of course, I don't think anything's off or weird about it. I think that's they're showing a father-daughter thing.
Yeah, and back then it was fine. No one seemed to give a shit.
So General Franklin Kirby comes here to tell him that all his men are dead, and he's leaving these two bozos there to protect him. And they're so good. Yeah, are they any good? Let me tell you, Ghoul, they let Arnold sneak up behind General Franklin Kirby and pull his gun out and put it to his chest. So yeah, they're not that good. That's your first sign.
Yeah, that's just... I just love the... They any good? Not as good as you. They're dead 15 seconds later.
Yeah, I'm still alive after going through all these different wars I've been through, but yeah, they're dead in 15 seconds. Yeah, I guess.
Well, I'll tell you, it's funny too. I've always thought this, backtracking to like the other guys that were killed that were supposed to be on Arnold's team. I mean, granted, I know this is from a different era, and actually you see more people like that in the military than you did back then, but those guys are like, they don't look like they would have been in any sort of special forces.
Yeah, Jackson and Harris don't look that amazing.
No, not at all.
Yeah, they're kind of dumb. And then, so as soon as this guy leaves in his helicopter, Arnold just looks around, ducks down, and they're shooting his house up. So basically, they faked Bennett's death to put them on high alert so that Kirby would make contact with Arnold, and then they would follow him, and that's how they find out where Arnold's been living.
Right.
Yet, so you followed him in real time with all your shit prepared, and the second he pulls away, you're shooting? You guys don't say, well, let's follow him, see, oh, okay, that's the house. All right, guys, we're gonna lay this out. You guys come from here, you guys go from there, we're gonna do this, we're gonna make sure the daughter's here, whatever. Nope, we're just gonna fucking go in, guns blazing.
Yeah. Well, it's funny, too, because you think about it, that means Kirby's dumb enough to not realize he's had a tail on him for God knows how long. He's this director of special forces, and he fucking doesn't realize when these obvious goons are following him.
How could you follow him in a helicopter anyway?
Like that, I always figured as they had been tailing him for days prior. But it's still, or watching him, like, how do you not realize this? You're supposed to be this high like security guy, and you fucking, yeah, it's
so dumb.
Like you said, as a kid, you're not thinking of that. As an adult, you're thinking of all this shit.
Dude, as a reviewer, you're thinking of this shit. Like,
exactly.
I don't think I ever thought of that till today.
You're right, yeah.
You know, and we'll do this about 20 more times. So Arnold smells them because the downwind, he smells other people.
When the guy fart.
Yeah, I like how this fucking guy is on the ground bleeding, dying, and Arnold wants to rub it in his face. He goes, I did. When he says, you smelled him coming? I did. I did. It's like, all right, dude, this guy's fucking shot and dying on the floor. How about you just give him a break for 5 seconds? He wasn't going to do anything about it anyway.
the assassin was also clearly standing up in the bushes too, aiming at him. I'm like, you didn't have to smell him out. You could have just turned your head real quick and then dude with a gun.
That was wild, but Arnold's good. I should say Matrix. We have to start saying. We got to start calling people by their character names. All we say is Seagal, Van Damme, Arnold, Stallone.
Especially, I know. Especially since they have some of the coolest character names.
I know. We can't get away from that. So, guys, Matrix is Arnold's name. Arnold gets in this little, shed. He has all these amazing guns in there. Didn't that always remind you of Terminator 2 in a way?
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Right? Yeah, and you're like, wow.
Well, we'll get to a scene later on, and then I know we talked about on Mark for Death, but gun prep loading up scenes are my favorite. And when you just see people's weapon stashes,
love it. Yeah, this was perfect. 1985. Can we just talk about 1985 for a second?
Sure.
So 1985, dude, that had movies like Teen Wolf, The Goonies, Rocky IV,
Weird Science,
Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2.
Oh, yeah.
House. Oh, just one of the guys?
Yep, yeah.
We're definitely going to do that one. Yeah, so Rambo 2 is 85. So the ones I really want to highlight is, and we'll ignore Red Sonja. I think Arnold would love if we did that.
I can't believe I actually watched that movie recently, 2 years ago.
So bad. It's unbelievably bad.
Yeah.
Death Wish 3. So you got...
Oh, Back to the Future.
Oh, Back to the Future. How can we not say Back to the Future? Yeah, so this fits... Would you say that to action movies, to this genre, these army action movies, that this is the Rocky IV of those movies? As far as...
up to this point, 100%.
Right.
Yeah.
And they came out the same year. Imagine being a guy, a real... What's that old thing on Spike TV? Movies for guys who like movies.
Oh, yeah.
That's what this is.
Wow, I forgot about that.
Yeah, remember that?
Holy shit.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny, too, because, this... I'm trying to think of even, action movies before this. I would say this one, I usually classify as, it's a run and gun. He literally is running and gunning at the end.
Oh, literally.
Yeah, and so it's that kind of is basically that, and Rambo 2 basically set the rest of that up for the 80s, because there's nothing really like that before that. So
yeah,
I would say this is a important action movie as far as action movies go.
Yeah, he's literally dancing through flowers, shooting people, murdering 81 men in about 20 minutes.
Oh my god.
He is a mass murderer, dude.
It's awesome. It's fucking awesome.
It's amazing, right? How many people died in this movie? So the guy goes, the one from Marked for Death, he goes, so we have your daughter, man, and if you want your daughter back, you're going to cooperate, right? Wrong. Which is a total callback to me. I don't know if it really was, but obviously...
The gun store from Terminator 1, yeah. Yep.
But I like this one better. I don't know if I ever told you this. I felt that in Terminator, it's not edited properly or maybe made properly. It's too soon there. He's wrong.
Yeah, I agree.
Here, it's wrong.
Yeah, and it's more satisfying here because you actually see the guy get shot in the head.
Right. Yeah, you don't even see it in Terminator.
Right, yeah.
Wow, I didn't even think about that. But again, the gunshot here in the head was not that amazing because his brains didn't paint the fucking wall behind him.
You just get the quick hole in the head and then cut.
Which, as a kid, it was satisfying. But yeah, now I want to see him paint the wall behind him.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, really weird that they didn't do that. And that gun wasn't no chintzy little thing.
Oh, no, that was I'm not extremely particular with guns, but I'm pretty sure that was an FAL, and that's a pretty strong rifle.
Yeah. So they rip the spark plugs and everything out of under his hood. And he just pushes his truck down this mountain.
I love this because also I want that truck so bad. If I could have any car, because I like what I drive now, but I want that.
I would love that.
Oh,
so great. So he does this without a care in the world that he might smash into the van that's carrying his daughter.
Well, that's the best part. So even if it didn't have any of the internals what they cut, would the steering wheel even still work?
Yeah, I guess if they don't mess the steering column, but wouldn't you need to start the car to release that whole thing?
Right, yeah.
Right? Like, you'd have to turn the key at some point. Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I don't know what's going on there.
He took a real gamble.
Yeah, it was really a haphazardly way to go about this. But, hey, yeah, I guess there's no time to kill here, right? You gotta go get your daughter back. So he just kind of runs. There was 2 times he's coming down. He's like, he's gonna hit us. And then again, the bats is coming out. There's no brakes. Like, there's 2 times. What is this mountain just keeps circling? Like,
it's like a fucking what's it called? Like Skeletor's lair or some shit,
Spiral
right?
Mountain Road or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
So funny, dude. Then he just like falls off the side. His truck explodes, of course. And then he kicks these guys' asses. He kicks the one guy off the mountain.
I love that. I also love a movie where someone actually uses like guns, like clubs people with them.
Oh, yeah.
That shit fucking hurts.
I love the effects. I love the action of this whole moment.
The sound design's really good on these punches, too.
And gun hits.
Yeah, the gun, especially. Like,
it all sounds real and painful.
Absolutely, yeah.
So then Matrix steps out onto the screen. You're supposed to be like, what? Meanwhile, as a kid, I'm like, who's this? Yeah. I didn't realize he's the fucking guy in the tugboat.
Also, what is that outfit?
Dude, I went through my whole life thinking he's wearing, like, chainmail armor or something.
That's what it is.
I think it's not.
What, do you think it's just like a net?
It's a netting. It's like a sweater.
What the fuck, really?
I swear to God. I was watching it today, and I'm looking close, and I'm saying, wait, there's no shine on that vest.
Maybe. I've just always considered it chainmail. I never looked at it up close, but I absolutely believe you could... Oh, wow.
Maybe I'm wrong. It's behind you at some point today, but maybe I'll point it out if I notice it. But, yeah, I thought it was chainmail armor. I don't think it is.
I don't... you're probably right, because I was going to... Or it's just supposed to be chainmail, but they couldn't get real whatever, so they just painted a net to make it look like it.
I don't know. And then he has that real... But he does have the real chain around his neck, that choker thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Where did he go shopping? Where the bartender from Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 went shopping? Is that where he gets his clothes?
I would assume so. He looks like he would hang out at a place like that.
An S&M joint?
Yeah, he definitely acts like it, too, towards the end of the movie.
Oh, dude, there's so much... is this like another 1985 Nightmare 2 experience where we could read more into this movie?
Oh.
But I think it's a one-way love fest. I don't think Arnold's thinking about him.
No, not at all.
So he shoots him with a tranquilizer. They take him to this... They lay him on a table, and they tell him that they want you to kill the president of Valverde, which is a made-up place. You know that?
Yeah. It also is shared with, I think, Die Hard 2. That's where they want to get someone to or from or something like that.
Mm-hmm. Die Hard 2. Supposedly, I think it's the DeSouza guy. I think he is the reason of that, yeah. And they do that so that he doesn't, there's no, drama. You made us look bad.
Exactly, yeah, because he could have easily gone for Cuba and it would have caused a fucking crisis in real life.
Yeah. I'm glad Seagal could care less. He just goes after the Jamaicans. He's like, yeah, that's all right.
Yeah.
That's fine. So he has to kill the president so that the scumbag could succeed him. I guess he's next in line or whatever, or he's the vice president.
He was basically like a dictator before, and then Schwarzenegger and his team helped overthrow him. And then...
Oh, yeah, he says, you have to overthrow me.
Right, yeah.
Oh, wow, I just kind of zone out when he's talking there.
That's the thing, because you're like we said, you're just here to see Arnold kill people. Who could give a fuck about the plot?
Right, but I guess I did wonder a little what's going on, but not enough to catch that. Wow.
Yeah, because it's funny, because I actually did not until I rewatched it probably 6 or 7 years ago. I was always like, why do they kidnap his daughter? And why does he end up in that country? And then, all you gotta do is listen to this guy and do this.
If you actually pay attention to him, you'll fucking figure it out. Meanwhile, I'm just like, do every time he's talking. And I just catch little things like, you have to kill the president.
Yeah.
Because he trusts, President Velasquez trusts you.
Yes. You are the hero of the revolution.
Yeah, maybe it's his accent is so bad I just kind of start zoning out. I don't know.
That 100% like adds to it. Yeah, like if you as soon as this guy opens his mouth, he's just mumble fest, and you're like, all right, whatever, who cares? On to the next scene, please. Like, I don't care.
So he goes, "Fuck you," and then doesn't it look like Sully's gonna break his neck when he like pulls it over to look at his daughter come out of that room?
Yeah, there's a lot of roughhousing going on, but it's funny because it's like the smallest guy in the room has to try and insert himself.
I like how they hire a 5'2" guy to be some intimidating gangster in this thing. Like,
he's got a pretty solid pair of fucking sunglasses that he's wearing in this scene that I really want. But it's funny because, I mean, later on towards the plane scene, he mentions that him and the other guy are like old war buddies. They served in the service. And I was like, you were in the fucking military?
Wow. Yeah, I know who they sent into the rabbit holes.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly.
You could fit. So yeah, they hold a knife to Jenny's throat. It was so.
I was gonna say they wouldn't have been able to get away with that in certain points.
And he's like, "You bastards." Arnold's amazing, right? Like every line he delivers is perfect.
Well, it's like I was gonna say this down the road once we get to more of the one-liners, but it really works for him in this movie because he's not like doing the grin and like look at the camera like, you see what I did there kind of thing. He's saying them with like such conviction that I'm like, I actually fucking buy it, and I love it.
I think where this movie succeeds and why it's lasted the test of time is it knows what it is. It captured its tone perfectly.
Absolutely, yeah. Compare it to Tango and Cash, where those guys, or one of the guys, did not know what movie they were in. Yeah, this one's like lightning in a bottle for all that shit.
All of it.
Yeah.
Just like Rocky IV. That was perfectly captured tone.
Right.
Right?
Yeah, because like, especially if you think about like even the like 85 is like just seems like a very unique year now that we talk about all the movies that came out, because like honestly, if Commando comes out in 83 or 84, it's a completely different movie. If it comes out in 86 or 87, it's also a completely different movie.
In the worst of ways. It would have been trying to be what it is.
Right, exactly. Like, I really like The Running Man, but I feel like this, if it was made 2 years too late, could have easily turned into that.
Right.
Very hokey and not, like...
Running Man did not hit it on the mark like this did.
Absolutely.
Sorry. I know a lot of people love that movie, and just because of who wrote it and all that, but I'm sorry. It's just not as good as Commando.
No.
And I'm the Arnold connoisseur. I know this. Like, I guess I'll say this now. Like, I'm wearing this Arnold shirt that you
Arnold
see.
Is numero uno.
Yeah, like Arnold wore this during Pumping Iron, like his first like film venture.
Yeah,
in '76 it was filmed. I own every single Arnold movie ever made. I always have. I have them all on Blu-ray. He's my number one action guy, you know?
Yeah.
I'm aware that some of his movies are not that amazing, but I am more forgiving also. Like I like Raw Deal and stuff like that, you know? Red Heat, like things that were not so amazing.
Red Sonja.
No, I stop at Red Heat. I don't think Terminator 3 is amazing, but I will say when I was a kid, when it came out, like when I was 21 or whatever, I tried to I just kept watching it as if it was a good movie.
Really funny that you say you were a kid when that came out at 21, because I was literally a kid when that came out. I was like 8 or 9. Yeah,
I think of myself as a kid when I was 20. Now that
I can totally believe it. I just turned 30. I can see myself I still see myself as a kid now.
I do still feel young, but at the same time, I have to come to the realization that when I walk on the boardwalk, I don't blend in with those kids anymore. I'm like the dad walking around. Like I used to see those old dads walking around. People see me like that now.
What are these hooligans doing?
Can you imagine if like I bump into a kid and I say something, he goes, "You got a problem, Dad?" And I'll feel like, oh God, let me just walk away.
I'll show you.
And here I am thinking I'm still gonna have a fight with these kids on the boardwalk, and they're like, no.
Yeah, they're just not interested.
No. So he goes, "You're gonna kill the president of Valverde, and if you don't, I will kill her and mail her to you in pieces." Dude, as a kid, when I was like 8, 9, 10, I used to have debates with my friends on how could he do that? Like, the mailman would smell the body parts in the boxes. Like, there's no way, and you're going to tell me it wouldn't bleed?
Well, what would probably happen is he would probably have his own like courier. He would probably send one of his own guys to like drop it to him. Yeah, I think that's really funny that you did the actual logistics of mailing it.
We had a whole logistical thing about so stupid. Me as an 8-year-old, I was just at.
That's awesome, though.
And then we said dogs would smell. It was a whole stupid conversation.
You're extremely critical thinking at a young age. That's impressive.
So he goes, "You're a funny guy, Sally. That's why I'm going to kill you last."
I love that, and then I love how he just like stuffs like a couple of bucks in his pocket. Here, have a drink in Valverde for me.
Oh, don't say the next line, dude.
Oh yeah, because and then I'm like, oh, he's the first. He just puts right there as soon as that glare that Schwarzenegger gives him. I'm like. I can remember the first time I saw it. I was like, "Oh, so he's gonna die first."
Oh yeah. Well, when he says the daughter line, that's when he says you're a funny guy, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I don't even want to repeat the line. It's horrible. Where did Matrix get that blazer?
I like how they gave that to him. Like, all right, we're sending you whatever. Looking conspicuous. Here's a blazer. He could have worn what he was wearing. He would have been fine.
Yeah, like, why would the stewardess Carrie's wearing a green T-shirt? What's wrong with that?
Like, oh, can you believe that giant guy in the regular clothes? What a weirdo.
Yeah, how weird. He's not even wearing a blazer, dude. Are we going to let him on here? I guess. How about when the stewardess says, "Do you have any carry-on luggage?" And he goes, "Just him." Since I know the line, like, "Open your mouth again and I'll nail it." And I say that line all the time.
I believe it. It's a great line.
Yeah, like when me and my wife, like, we don't, like, really fight. So, like...
No, when you're just giving each other shit.
Yeah. I say, "Open your mouth again and I'll nail it shut." I've been saying that for, like, 15 years. It's so great, dude. But I like how he looks at him when he says "just him," because you know that line's coming, so you want to see his reaction too.
Yeah.
And how about these goons? Are they not all the greatest like casted people ever?
Yeah, and it's funny because like they don't even like some of them like Henrique is his name, whatever. He doesn't get a lot to do, but he shines. Like when he gets his line, "Open your mouth again, I'll nail it shut." You're like, oh fuck yeah, like
yeah.
And he's and even like the clothes they wear makes him stand out. He's wearing that Hawaiian shirt stuff, like which is awesome. Like I'm a big fan of that. And then this whole cast of henchmen is just so memorable and great.
Yeah, I sent you a picture earlier today.
I love shots like that. Like that's like a behind like a promotional of like gangs.
Yeah.
Oh, I love like they have like. That they have the gang from RoboCop one that goes hard as fuck.
Oh, they got that too, yeah.
Yeah, they have a really like the even not even the bad guys, but like the squad from Predator, even the squad shot of the promo shots of Predator 2. It's just a better time for movies when they actually did cool shit like this,
and they were real actors.
Right, yeah.
You know, like, who really knew their craft and stuff like that. And, like, they were just kind of thrown into these kinds of movies, you know?
Yeah. And then what are the odds that all these guys in this crew are recognizable? Because...
every one of them.
Like, Henrique was just in, what's it called? Action Jackson. Yeah, and so most of these guys have been or eventually will be in other movies that we do, which is just... it shows you, like, they're just such recognizable faces for that time.
Love it, dude. Just love it. Yeah, Vernon Wells. We'll talk about him. A lot of people debate whether or not he was a good enough villain.
So I heard an interesting tidbit about a backstory for his character involved, like production-wise, that apparently they had an entirely different actor in that role, like the first couple of weeks into production, and then he wasn't panning out, so they fired him. I forget. I was on another podcast that was talking about this movie. It might have been Rewatchables. I know I go back to them a lot, but they do their homework for a lot of stuff like this. I forget who the fuck they said it was, but they shot like 3 weeks or so worth of footage with this guy, and then they fired. They were just like, it's not working. So this guy was brought in technically at the last minute, and you wouldn't be able to tell that with what he's doing in this movie because he's fucking going for it. Yeah.
Well, you wouldn't know Marty.
Eric Stoltz thing, yeah.
You would think Michael J. Fox was always... he's so natural, and he's so into it, and so ingrained and so lived in that you don't think, like, oh, he's not even supposed to be here.
100%, yeah.
You don't think that at all.
No, not at all.
But, I mean, who would really be as imposing as Arnold? Like, what would you cast? Dolph Lundgren? Like if you wanted to match it that way. But I think the thing that makes this so good with Vernon Wells is that it's not exactly the physique that is the intimidating part. It's the nuttiness. It's the crazy in him, right?
Yeah, he's fucking unhinged, and no matter what the size of an unhinged person is, they can be capable of anything. Like, you can kind of compare it, obviously, to like any of like the slashers, like even Michael Myers. Like, he's so like fucked up mentally that even though he's not a huge person, he's just so fucking crazy that he like doesn't receive pain like a normal human being. So he's just as like dangerous as a guy who's fucking huge like Arnold.
What's so dangerous about Bennett is what he's capable of.
Right.
You know, that he has no morals, that he's a killer, that he'll cut his daughter's throat, you know, things like that. Like,
well, then you get back to the scene where they have him tied down to the table, too, when he talks about how Bennett was kicked out because he enjoyed killing too much. And then he goes, "Your training."
Yeah, your training, Matrix.
Yeah, you trained me to be this hardcore killer, but I just love doing it so much that it just overtook him.
Right. He has a belly, he has kind of flabby arms, he's not tall, he's not whatever, but
he's got training and he's got mental unhingedness, and sometimes that's all you need.
That's all you need.
It's actually an extremely dangerous combination.
And I think he's charismatic on screen, and he looks the part. I like him.
Yeah, he's definitely I
love him.
I feel like he's underrated as an 80s action villain.
Oh, yeah.
But at the same time, he's not.
Right, because we all know him.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, he's not like just some guy nobody talks about. Like, yeah, he's prominent enough, really.
Yeah, I think it's just because of him doing Road Warrior. People more associate him with that than this.
Yeah, yeah. Somehow Arnold's able to smash this guy's nose in and then crack his neck.
Dude.
When his arms pop up.
I love that so much.
That's the best. They just both go up. It's like, so amazing. And then what I love about it, when you look at him later, since he's like a black guy, when they put the gray makeup on his face,
he looked like something out of the fucking original Dawn of the Dead. It looked absurd.
You're
oh
right.
My God.
Wow, that's funny you say that. He's like that the mall one, right?
Yeah,
where they all had that like gray makeup on.
Yeah, it was like grayish, kind of blue, depending on how your color grading on your TV is.
He looked like he was right out of that.
Yeah.
That's funny, man. Like all those people in that apartment complex, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's so funny.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it's so disturbing. So again, it goes unnoticed, and he instantly says, "Don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired."
Again, delivers it with such conviction that it just fucking works.
I'm just concerned about how he dove off the fucking airplane and survived.
That always scared the shit out of me every time I watch it. Just like, imagine he's a minute too late climbing down there and he's too high to even climb back up the fucking thing.
That's what I always wonder, everything like that. Like,
it's very anxiety inducing. Because you put yourself in that.
Right. And I'm like, wow, so could he really do this? And a plane is going, at that point in its takeoff, it's going 180 miles an hour.
Holy fuck.
Try imagine holding on to that, and then you're looking down to see where you could land. Like, your eyes would be beating against this. Your eyes would be watering.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
You couldn't see anything.
Yeah, and plus you also, when you jump, you have to gauge where you're going to land, and you also have to think about,
hitting the back of the plane, like everything.
Yeah, that actually, or getting sucked into the turbine.
Yeah, something like that, right.
You just fall straight down.
He just falls straight down, like he weighs 3,000 pounds. He just falls straight down.
I always die, and I didn't really laugh the hardest until I was paying attention to it, watching it this week. When he lands in the marsh, it is the silliest shit, because, like, I really want to know how they set that scene up. Like, what did he jump from? Because it legit just looks so absurd when he falls.
And then when he lands, I'm like, oh, okay, I can see how this works.
Yeah.
Like, because he lands so softly, and it's the perfect combination of, like, brush and water.
And, like, water, like, swampy kind of thing.
It's like, okay.
I could suspend my disbelief there.
Right, I can see how this works. Like, I just try to convince myself. Then we just move on to the next. And I love how as soon as he lands, the steel drum music starts up again.
Like, as soon as that, and then he sets the watch for 11 hours, and you're like, oh, it's fucking on.
And I guess I'll tell people that behind-the-scenes thing. So when we're doing this review, we knew what time we were going to start it, so I set my clock to go backwards, countdowning to that moment, just to be like this movie. Such a loser.
That's dedication to the movie.
Yeah, I wanted to live it, man.
Do you want me and Chris to come kidnap your kid a couple years down the road, like just for fun?
Yeah.
Like, we'll tell you it's a joke, but you gotta come find us.
And I'll just make sure I have no brakes.
Yeah.
Everything. No spark plugs. I want to go after you guys. So, you see Jenny, speaking of her, on the boat, and then, you know, everything's going to plan. He got on the plane, you know, Sully makes the call. Yep. So then he goes, your father seems to be cooperating. You'll be with him again soon. Wouldn't that be nice? So now I don't know what version you watched.
So I watched the theatrical for this because I was like, because after you said the thing with the directors, I was like, whatever, I'll check it out another time.
So what response does she give?
Not as satisfied as watching him smash your face in.
Okay. My version, not nearly as nice as watching him kick your ass.
Oh, I like that.
Do you? My wife hated it. She said, that sounds stupid coming from her. And I go, well, it's funny you say that. She doesn't really say that. And she goes, really? I go, yeah. She says, not nearly as nice as watching him smash your face in was what I grew up with.
Yeah, I mean, they both sound good, but I just like that they let her swear.
Right. And I guess they said, nah, she comes off like more of her age if you say smash his face in. Let's keep it like that.
Yeah.
Director's cut's like, nah, man, let's have her go for it, you know?
Yeah, she's John Matrix's kid. She's Jenny Matrix, another
Jenny
JM.
Matrix.
Yeah.
I never thought about that. Jenny Matrix.
That's the sequel, or the re-legacy sequel.
Wouldn't that be cool if they made Commando 2 and they had Alyssa Milano now?
She has to save him because he's old and they kidnap him.
And then she's been training her whole life.
Yeah. Oh.
She's like a secret agent girl. Oh my god.
Telling you, we're in the wrong business. We should be doing this.
She's like 50 now, man.
Is she? Oh, yeah, well, I guess.
It's 40 years ago, basically, right?
Yeah, 85. Yeah,
she's
39.
like 51 or something now.
Jesus Christ.
Jenny's 51. Wow. Sully starts hitting on Ray Don Chong.
Oh my god.
What's her name, Cindy?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's hitting on her at the airport. This is like rape, dude. He's like, she's on the phone. Talking
with another guy because he makes a comment, and then he's just standing there waiting for her to finish things, lighting up a cigarette. I'm like, dude, what the sad part is these dudes still exist.
Oh yeah, and they still think girls are turned on by smoking. Your head hits up to her nipple. She's not gonna talk to you. Not to short shame anybody, but Jesus Christ.
But it's also just like he just eases sleaze, like.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
His hair, his face, his clothes.
Yeah, the clothes, yeah, everything. Then he's like following her, and then she keeps refusing him, and then he...
Yeah, the best line.
You fucking whore.
You fucking whore.
Yeah, she's a whore because she doesn't want to fuck you. That makes sense.
I always said that. I was like, no, because
right.
She said no to you.
Right.
Yeah, that's what you could... If you want to be a real jerk, you could say that when you leave her apartment.
Right.
So then you get to Arnold ripping the seat out of her car. I for years didn't even know why he did that. I'm like sitting there like, what was the point of this? And I eventually put it together that he wanted to be real low in the seat.
Yeah. But he's still, even some of the shots they show of them driving, he's still just the same size as he would be sitting there.
I know, yeah. It is weird. And then...
It's a small car with a giant man in it. You can't hide regardless.
So you get this amazing mall scene, like he spots Matrix. Matrix is kicking the ass of like 30 mall cops. Like, why are there so many mall cops?
Yeah, it's I don't know, but there's one point when Cindy the cop's aiming his gun at Schwarzenegger.
No.
Cindy hits the cop down the stairs, and then do you know who that cop is?
Hey, lady, no.
It's Dick Warlock, the guy who played Michael Myers in Halloween 2.
You actually had a real legit reason to do this. I don't believe it.
So it's funny. I actually recognized it a few years ago.
Yeah?
And I was like, well, it makes sense because he's a stuntman. So, but then, of course, and this is the point where I'll have to shout out Chris, I kept my promise. Because I was saying I'll have to find a one, because Chris wasn't going to be on. I was like, I'll have to find something. And I couldn't think of anything. And I was like, I guess I'll just go generic and be like, yeah, when he blows up all the houses, it's kind of like when I get real stupid with it.
Right.
But then I remembered, I was like, oh no, Dick Warlock's actually in this movie.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, yeah, this scene is wild. He flips a phone booth. That had to weigh like 1,000 pounds. Like, oh my God.
Oh my God, just like him shaking it. I love how terrified Sully looks. And then he lifts it like...
Yeah, with a gun in his hand, by the way. You could have just shot him.
Yeah.
You shot before, when he was further away, you shot out the glass, but then he's shaking it, and Sully, like, he seems like he's just trying to hold on instead of shooting.
Right, yeah.
Which is really weird. I would have just shot him.
And then I think we meant to bring up the mall that this is.
This is the Sherman Oaks Galleria, which, remember when the girls... I think he's at the Galleria.
I was just thinking that.
Yeah. In Terminator 2, that's where John Connor was when Arnold showed up there. So he's like, wow, it's great to be back. I haven't been here in 7 years. This is great. Looks fantastic. So, yeah, he did that. And also, Chopping Mall was filmed here. Great mall. I think it's gone now, actually.
I believe it, yeah.
I think I remember hearing that it might be gone. Don't quote me on that, though.
Well, I would believe it. Like, all those 80s-style malls are, like, done.
Yeah. So he does all that, beats the shit out of 30 mall cops, swings from the ceiling like Tarzan.
I love that. I love that.
That's great. This is such a perfect Arnold vehicle, I'm telling you.
Yeah.
Then Radon, Cindy warms up to him. So, yeah, for some reason, Cindy is now warming up to Arnold, helping him with that Dick Warlock cop and all that shit.
I gotta say, too, that actually prior to her, she has some really good lines, too, leading up to, like my ex-member wants me dead. She's like, I can see why. I've only known you 5 minutes and I want you dead.
And he just glares at her?
Yeah, that's so witty.
I want you dead, too. Well, when he leaves the mall, he does that...
Are you talking about the chest punch?
Dude. He does this corny-ass double axe handle chest... like Jackson in Bloodsport.
Yeah. Yeah, I've always wondered. I was like, is that an effective move? Like,
yeah, I don't know what that chest hit was. That you couldn't think of anything else because the other guy, it's really cool. He like does something, and he like knees him or something. Then he like hits him on the back or whatever.
Yeah, kind of does like a judo chop kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's cool. But the other one is corny as fuck, dude. I just can't believe he did that. Yeah. But then he gets hit by Sully's car,
oh my God,
which was amazing. I thought he was so cool when I was a kid. I was like, wow, he got hit by a car and just got up.
Something I noticed just watching it this time was that some of the car broke off after it hit Schwarzenegger.
I always noticed that piece falling.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I never noticed that until this week.
Yep. So they go on this high-speed chase, and he keeps smashing Sully's car on this mountain highway chase.
Yeah.
He flips it sideways, pulls Sully out. Sully still's like, get fucked. And, all this other stuff. Like, wow, he is fearless in the face of death.
Yeah, right.
And then he hangs Sally over a cliff with his weak arm. And he says, what is important is gravity. You could quote this movie. I didn't write any of these notes down.
I didn't write any of the quotes down either.
It's just there, right? It's amazing. Yeah. It's that indelible in your mind.
I just love though that because he finds the motel, he rips the motel key out of his pocket.
I could take your room, gonna meet Kook.
Yeah, and
I'm not gonna stop, dude. Until he's dead.
I love it. But it's funny because he already knows where it is. He's just kind of doing he's taunting him. He's like, yeah,
but you won't, because I already know.
Oh, and then the best line, I could say one of the best lines, if not the best line in this, is remember when I promised to kill you last? That's right, Matrix, you did. I lied. And then that's wrong. It's honestly what solidified the conviction of the lines for me was the I lied. Because that could have gone... It could have gone so bad, but it is so fucking good.
Dude, think about every line he delivers and how it could have gone bad. If he just delivered them like a lame-o, don't disturb my friend, he's dead tired. It'd be like, that's corny.
Yeah.
But he's like, don't disturb my friend, he's dead tired.
Yeah, he knows how to put the emphasis on the right word in the sentence.
Always. I lied.
Yeah.
And then but you won't, because I already know. And he could have went, because I already know.
Yeah, exactly.
You're that's how a lame-ass actor would have done it, yeah, that's how people talk. Yeah, because I already know, man. So, good luck. But he actually knew to have a different emphasis on it and made it memorable. You can't praise Arnold enough in this movie.
You really can't. It's just so fucking good.
How about when he drives straight into the telephone pole for no reason?
Yeah, you could have botched this whole thing and you could have gone off the cliff and that would have been it.
Can you imagine if the pole wasn't there?
Yeah, the movie's over.
Off the cliff.
Yeah.
Like, oh, okay, so Jenny, good luck, whatever.
Yeah.
I guess they would have killed her, right? Because they would have seen that the guy was dead on the plane. They would have said he wasn't on the plane, and they would have killed Jenny, and that would be the end of it.
Well, you find out closer towards the movie, because I have this as a note earlier, just because of how hell-bent Bennett is on killing Matrix, that no matter what the situation was, even if he did kill the guy, he's going to kill Jenny anyway, just because he wants to get back at her.
Would he, though? That was weird, because he said, because they would have killed her anyway if I did it. But here's the thing. But they were keeping her captive, so essentially, and only when he was not on the plane does he go, kill her. Like, otherwise, they were not going to kill her, right?
So I would assume, because they say something, Bennett says something to Arias towards the end. He says something like, little does he know that he's not actually getting his daughter back. So what I would assume would happen was they keep her alive until he gets the job done, and then they kill her, because he would be fucking fucked from assassinating.
Once he came back to get her, and then they would just show her, and then kill her in front of him, then kill him?
Exactly, yeah.
I thought he says, oh, Matrix will do what he says as long as he thinks he'll get his daughter back.
So that's why the implication that he thinks he'll get her back.
As long as he thinks, right.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing that always, as a kid, I always said, what is happening here? They hit the telephone pole. He says, wait here. Takes Sally, whose car is 10 feet away from them, beats him up, then walks to the cliff, which is right near her car and him, and then throws him off the cliff. He walks back to her. She's bored up against the pole or something, saying, what do we do now? There's no car. He goes, yes, there is, or something. He flips his car back on its tires, which is impossible to do, by the way. Then she says, what did you do with Sully? I let him go. Now listen, I get you wanted to drop your yet another one-liner in here, which was, I guess, funny. Not that funny, but okay. Why doesn't she know exactly?
I was gonna say she would have been a witness to that whole thing, even if you would have overheard it. You didn't hear the guy screaming.
How does she not know?
That never occurred to me until this week.
Really?
When I watched it. Yeah. Well, because that's the thing. I've always been just turn your mind off and watch it. But like we were saying earlier, as like not necessarily nitpicking, but like picking things that are just like you don't really catch when you're thinking.
Right. When you're observing.
Yeah, she would have been right there. Yeah.
She's right there. You should have been staring at them the whole time.
Yeah. She should have been involved. She should have threw in a taunt too. Like said something about like him like. Yeah, here's your date or something like that. Like,
yes. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Right.
Yeah, she could have said some dumb shit like that.
Wow. She go, hey, are you still free next Friday?
Yeah. Right. Oh my God. Yeah. Yeah. Or even after he drops him, she doesn't even have to say, hey, what did you do to him? She should be like, oh, well, I guess he's not available for a second date or something like that.
She could have went, gee, I had a change of heart too. Like something. She could have said something, her own witty line, instead of just us sacrificing logic to hear, I let him go.
Right.
So yeah, we definitely. So now this I noticed since I was a kid. So I'm just going to ask you. I don't want to prompt you. What do you think is weird about when he pushes his car over and they drive away? Did you notice what makes zero sense about that? See, you would have known already. Okay.
Yeah, no, I can't think of anything. The only thing I thought of when I caught it this week was the car seems way more on the road than it was when he initially tipped it. But that might just be a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
So when he keeps slamming into the side of his car,
yeah,
and it goes up, then they push it down and they turn and drive back that way. The side that they kept hitting is pristine.
Oh, really?
There's not a dent on the door, the fenders, nothing.
Oh, no shit.
And I've noticed this since probably 91.
Wow, really? No shit. Yeah, no, I never noticed that.
Even on VHS tape.
Wow. I'm definitely going to be like looking for all these things the next time I watch it.
Kook, he goes to the hotel room. She makes believe she's a hooker. Sully's in the shower. And Arnold just comes out and starts fighting, and then he's like, this Green Beret's gonna kick your big ass. I ate Green Berets for breakfast, and I'm very hungry. Boom, boom, boom. And they're fighting. She goes, this is macho bullshit. And they're shooting at each other from like 2 feet away.
Is this the fight scene where she says like you guys have had too much red meat?
Yeah, you guys eat too much red meat. So then he throws him through that adjoining door to the other motel room, where I don't know what's happening in this room.
Yeah.
Dude, the girl is behind the guy.
Yes.
And there's a video camera.
Yes.
And these big tits come popping out. And as a kid, you know, my dad must have known, because every time you get to that scene, the tape starts fluttering, because I kept pausing it there. Oh, yeah. Or rewinding it there. So, like, every time it would mess up, he would turn and look at me. But, so, what is
going on here?
Is this girl putting a strap-on, and this guy's taking it up the butt on video?
That's the only thing I could think of. Because it's funny, because I noticed this like a few years ago, back when, like, obviously as a kid, I never noticed any of that.
I just saw the boobs, yeah.
Exactly, yeah. But, like, when I watched it, probably, yeah, like, back in 2016 or 17, I'm like, wait, not only that, but I was like, there's a camera in there, too? Like, what's going on?
Yep. He's doing that and letting someone film it.
Yeah, that is, 85. To see something like that in 85 is very interesting.
That's weird. That's weird in 85. I guess this was always happening. It's kind of like you said, like how we did a few movies, like with the other stuff, the political crap, and you were like, yeah, I guess that shows that it's always been happening, right?
Yeah.
It's just on your feed on Instagram every 5 seconds.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, great fight. Some unplausible moments in that fight. Then, I don't even know how Cook dies.
Dude, I love this so much.
Cook. I even wrote Cuke. Cook. Like Duke, but Cook. So, and I know now it's spelled Cooke.
Yeah, Cook.
Yeah, Cook. So, he throws him through that thing where it's like those black rods.
The bars, yeah.
But what gets stuck in his stomach? To this day, I don't know.
I always thought it was like a table leg or something.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, because it's like looks like wood, but but there's no table that's in that room or in that way because he just throws him through the doorway.
Yeah,
it's kind of like I feel like there was probably a different version of how he died, but they probably didn't like it and they just changed it to that like last minute or something.
And I like how blood's gushing out of his mouth and he's like, Cook, like answer me. Yeah. It's like, yeah, number one, after what you just did to him, he's not answering you. Number two, he's incapable.
I gotta say though, I love this motel set.
Yeah.
Any of that 80s shit, like I love that that glass, like those glass, like
the squares where they keep bumping into and it keeps falling apart. Yeah.
I love how that was like in so many like 80s things, like so many like if I ever hit the lottery and able to get myself, it is gonna be 80s out with tons of that shit. The neon lights, everything.
Oh god, it's great. Yeah, great motel. So then they steal his car because he won't be needing it.
A great ADR moment.
Yeah, he won't be needing it. So they go to the surplus store. Oh my god. Like, who normally shops there? Yeah, like a hand grenade, some rocket launchers, Uzi 9mm.
45 long slide with laser sliding. I love this. But it's funny, too, because where does he get the fucking little bulldozer thing from?
It's just there. Yeah, why bulldoze? You couldn't just smash a window and...
Right, yeah, he just creates the biggest commotion you could create. Yeah, and then is shocked when the cops show up. This
is like a movie on steroids, no pun intended. Like, every moment is whatever you could do, but on steroids. It has to be so macho. He couldn't just kick a fucking door open or throw a rock through a window. He has to drive that. So he loads up on all these badass guns and grenades and
so fucking good.
These flippers for his feet. If you really look at some of this stuff, it's hilarious. And
it's funny because he doesn't even end up swimming to the island. He takes the boat.
An inflatable rowboat.
Yeah.
So the cops show up and they're like, "Don't even think about it." Now, they already loaded some stuff into Cook's car. I did it right.
Oh, damn.
Cook's car. Now, I'm sorry. I always thought this, too, for years, not even just now as a reviewer. How do the cops know this is happening, get there, see him doing this, yet they somehow missed Cindy in the parking lot?
I agree. I was like, because that's one of the things going into this. Even before the scene, I was like, wait, how does she get away?
And
they don't.
Nothing.
There's no. Yeah, there's nothing.
And then she just pulls up next to the paddy wagon.
And she still has all the shit in the back of the car. Seat. Like, and then the fucking like the grenade launcher or the rocket launcher still is there. So I'm like, how do these guys not look behind and be like, oh, she's got military looking crates and she's got a giant, it looks like a weapon.
Wait, this can't be okay. Like, normally if they see the slightest hint of a weapon or something in your car, they pull you over. Here, you could have a fucking rocket launcher in the back seat and they're like, hooker.
On a convertible, nonetheless.
Yeah, a convertible. It's not even tinted windows closed. It's a convertible.
I love how they have him, a single person, in the back of a paddy wagon.
Yeah, I love it. Hey, hooker. She's a hooker? Most hookers are standing on the corner smoking a cigarette in a miniskirt. She's wearing flight attendant clothes.
She's driving a Cadillac.
And she just smiled. She's flirting with you, you asshole. What do you mean, hooker? So she stays at the red light, gets up, points the rocket launcher sort of at them. If you pull the trigger, how does it shoot backwards? Did you push the trigger? What's happening here? And then later on, he goes, how did you learn how to do that? She goes, I read the instructions. Clearly, no, you did not.
Incorrect.
Yeah, you did not read anything. You just fucked around with it until it shot towards him.
Trial and error.
How did it go that way if you pulled on a trigger? You'd have to have pushed the trigger, why would you do that?
Oh, yeah, no, you're right. She wouldn't have been able to pull it if it was backwards. Right. Yeah. Oh,
what is happening here?
Yeah, oh my god.
And how committed is she that she's willing to do this?
She could have killed him.
That's the other place I was going with it. Yeah, like, dude, you couldn't think of any other way to get me out of here? How about you go up and just point one of my many guns I gave you at the two cops and said, give me the keys, and then shoot a warning shot, like blowing their window out or something, and so
shoot a tire out and then handcuff the cops to the truck.
Right. You blow up the thing he's in to get him out?
But like you were just saying, it's everything on steroids. The escape has to be outrageous.
Yeah, it can't just be like what we said is boring, right? They want to blow it up.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Mind-boggling. So they go and they steal this seaplane. And of course there's a scene where these two guys are shooting at him from like this Jeep and they cannot hit them.
I think the funniest part about this, like, this place that they're at, they're still in the United States. These guys are patrolling it, like, with Uzis, and, like, they look like they're part of Arias' crew. Like, it's just so bizarre.
And why are you shooting at people getting into a plane? You don't know anything about them. How do you know they're not supposed to? You know the whole schedule?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? Like, what the hell's going on here? What if it's two guys on your team? And you're like, hey, who are they? I don't even, let me go down there and see who that is. It might be this guy I want to talk to. No, I'm going to assume that they shouldn't be there from 300 yards away and just start shooting at them and shooting up our planes.
Yeah, I was going to say the amount of bullets that hit that plane, I'm like, that thing would have been able to take off.
Bill Paxton's in this movie.
Awesome.
You will be shot down. You're not in a designated area. Please, blah blah blah. Yeah, that's great. I love Bill Paxton in anything, man. And then I was just gonna say in the same year he does this in Weird Science. And oh yeah,
do you know what month Weird Science came out in '85?
Ooh,
I don't, because this came out in October of '85. So I was wondering if Weird Science came out before or after this, because it's just funny to see him as Chet. And then see him as this bit part in this movie.
Yeah, and let's not forget, he was in Terminator.
Yep. Yeah.
And then True Lies with Arnold.
This was August 1985. Or Weird Science was August 1985. So it's funny. So people
got a lot of Bill Paxton. 2 years in a row.
Larger than life. And then he does the Aliens after this.
Right after this, yep.
Yeah.
He has a great career. I love Bill Paxton. He's in Titanic, dude.
That's right, yeah.
He made boku bucks on Titanic.
Oh, yeah. He's fucking Bill Paxton. Like, he's just everything. Like, I always reference this. He's in one of my favorite vampire movies ever, Near Dark. Yeah.
So the plane was supposed to land in Valverde. They It does, but Matrix is not on the plane. The dude he killed is, so now it's time to kill Jenny. She's been locked in this room we didn't really mention, and she pries her way out of these, like, planks of wood that are blocking a window.
That was actually, I didn't realize until now, I was like, that's actually pretty smart to, like, get the door handle and pry that away, because I was like, that actually makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I don't know how she got the door handle off. I'm 44 and I couldn't do it.
Yeah, I was like, that's the weirdest part about this. How did she get the fucking door handle
I'd be
off?
sitting there for like 2 days trying to get that doorknob off. Like, I don't have a screwdriver to do this. And she's using it as a flathead to pry open the fucking wood. I don't know what's going on here. So, Matrix is gearing up for battle. We get a 10-second montage, but at the same time, it is kind of rewarding, right?
Oh, it is. As a person who, like, I really enjoy guns, the sound of plunging magazines into guns, loading slides back, racking a shotgun, it is fucking porn to me. And just all of this, like putting the shells in the vest thing, sliding a knife into the sheath,
the knots of the grenades.
Yeah, and then even putting the makeup on, like the stripes. Oh, this is pure just. Oh, this is fucking this is porn to me.
It's amazing. I wish this could just be on a loop or something like that, and just go 10 times in a row, and I'd watch every one of them.
Oh, like it is just pure fucking just it's. Yeah, it is.
Just great. And it being Arnold, it couldn't have been done by a better person. Yeah, Arnold's in that little, like, European man's bathing suit. I guess they wanted that shot. Again, everything's got to be on steroids here. Even the guy in it. And we got to show the results of the steroids.
It's funny because he's not even in his best shape in this movie.
It is still amazing.
Yeah, I'm like, holy fuck. He doesn't even look nearly as good as he does in, like, Predator.
Right. In his prime, he was 6'2", 240 pounds.
Holy shit.
I'm guessing here he's like 215, I'm going to say. 210, maybe.
That seems to be a good gauge, yeah.
So, Jenny escapes, and she goes into the basement. So, of course, she goes into a basement that is a boiler room of some kind. Some industrial-looking type place, right?
It's also like a collector's museum of all sorts of random, like, treasures. Like, there's, like, antiques and paintings and shit.
Right. So then we get to the Matrix blowing up building after building after building.
All the knife kills, too.
Oh, yeah, with that projectile knife. ¿Cómo está?
¿Cómo estás? I just love, though, like, him sneaking up on the first guy and giving up and just jamming it right in his fucking...
In his belly, right? In his belly.
Yeah. And then the two guys, they come up behind him, and he just turns around and just throws them at him, and they just land in the chest and the neck.
Dude, so amazing. All the kills were so good. Like, somebody sat there and thought of how we could kill all these people. You know, the non-generic shooting ones. And really good, very memorable. I could picture everything as you're saying it.
Yeah.
Bennett says, "Welcome back, John."
Yeah.
He's not even scared.
Yeah. And he's loving it. I also love, this is kind of like a throwback to a little before this, to when Arius and Bennett are walking through his little mansion, and the guard, hey, you know, slitting a little girl's throat, it's like cutting more butter.
Yeah, it's running a hot knife through warm butter.
Yeah, he's like, shut your mouth.
He goes, put the knife away and shut your mouth. That was so great. He goes, I like your little pissant soldiers trying to sound tough.
Pissant soldiers, yeah.
It's great. Matrix kills about 81 soldiers, apparently. And
That's an official number?
Yeah. And not one bullet hits him.
Well, the best part is like he's just hip firing and just like spraying the whole time, and the cool thing I love about this is these guys getting shot, the noises they're making as they're getting shot, plus like the squibs on them, it's awesome.
Oh yeah, everything's popping and stuff.
Yeah, and they're like, ah.
And how about like when they fall back and they're still like going like that with their arms, like there's the motion of shooting or whatever.
Yeah.
And like the one where it shoots the statue in front of the guy and he just twirls and falls down.
Yeah.
And you see the one guy who looks like Bill Murray?
Dude, so many of these guys, I feel like they were just regular extras, but because they had to look like they were from Valverde, they put the fakest mustaches on these guys.
Dude, they're all white guys who they just made up to look like Valverde.
Yeah, they gave him a spray tan and a fake mustache. and they're like, here's a gun, go run with it.
Yeah, these are not Hispanic people or anything. It's like supposed to be Central America, but these guys are not from there.
Oh, it's fucking beautiful.
So the one guy finally does something worthwhile, throws a fucking hand grenade over to Arnold 2 feet away from him. He jumps out of the way, goes with the blast. He has this like weird cut on his side, and that is it. Like, dude, he would have painted those white flowers red.
Yeah, there would have been there would be no more Matrix.
No more Matrix. No. He'd be a mess. Yeah. And he goes into this shed, and then he looks around, and then they, like, open fire. They make it Swiss cheese. He's like, come on, gotta meet him. And they open the door, and they're looking around. He's not in there. Then he jabs a pitchfork into this guy's chest. He throws a saw blade, and that is the most disturbing kill in this movie.
That one always got to me as a kid.
When he scalps this guy, because he looks so creepy, that guy.
That's the thing, yeah, the guy does look he doesn't look, okay, yeah, he's a weird looking guy. And it doesn't even shave the top of his head, it shaves like at an angle, yeah.
Then he throws another one, and now in the director's cut, so the cut you see, it just kind of hits the guy and it ends. In the director's cut, you saw my director's cut, I sent you the clip of that, right?
Yeah.
It's another shot where it's just him going like that.
Yeah, he's like...
It's like stuck in his neck. But the way they filmed that, it was hokey looking, right? It didn't look good.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think they did a good job cutting it out. Like, we get it. That thing is... He's dead. Like, and then he's got the axe to the guy's nuts, which is... Oof.
Right.
And then this one, which is probably my favorite, is the machete to the arm. And it is a fucking... Like, solid, like, even before they show in this, it is fucking solid.
Now, the one I like your cut too, but in mine, it's longer, and then they show him falling on the ground, and Arnold throws his arm at him.
Yeah.
And then they show him again dangling on the ground, right?
When he cuts that guy's arm off, he was originally supposed to take the guy's arm and just beat him with it.
Really?
That's what I think I read that somewhere, like, forever ago. I might be wrong, or it might just be internet bullshit, but that would have been, like, again... it would have kind of worked for this movie just because it's on fucking steroids. Right. Yeah. But yeah, this shed scene is like probably the most memorable part of this movie.
Oh, absolutely. Now, before this, I guess there was nowhere that we would know to drop this moment, but so Arnold filmed a love scene with Cindy that was taken out because they said because it was deemed unconvincing and it was dropped from the movie.
It kind of makes sense, because where would you put that in this movie? Because it's because this is kind of leads into that trope of like kind of like what's it called, Out for Justice, and then I don't know if we did another one where it takes place all in basically one day.
Literally, his watch is counting down the minutes.
Right? Yeah. So unconventional makes sense because he's not gonna. All he cares about is getting his daughter back. He's not gonna stop to do anything with anyone.
Yeah, definitely.
Plot wise, it makes sense.
Right. Okay, so now it's the two villains that are left, Arius and Bennett. So Arius and Matrix go have this like cat and mouse machine gun game, which is phenomenal to me.
I love just getting there. Matrix jumps off the thing onto those two guys. It just bashes them together and throws them into the glass fucking
table.
The glass
and
table.
And the camera's from under the table, so we see them hit it.
That is like that's like a shot. You don't see a lot of that kind of stuff in these movies. Like to get the full range of him coming down, you see it all, and it's fucking awesome.
You're right. I didn't think about that. Yeah, this guy's shooting at him, and they're lighting up the windows. Matrix is always a second behind him as he's running through the house. Then I like when he throws the guns on the ground. He keeps running and he shoots with other guns and stuff.
Yeah, he's got the shotgun. Yeah,
and that sound of the empty gun just hitting the ground.
Oh, it's so good.
It's all good. And like then he has the.
Yeah, they're just hitting like the stones and the wood.
It's just falling on the ground.
Yeah. Well, I love that too, because that's kind of how a real gunfight would go. You're just like aiming and you're popping shots, because you don't want to get fucking shot. You're just hoping something hits.
Yeah, exactly. And then they try to trick each other with their timing, and that was all choreographed really well.
Yeah, and then he does the roll.
Yeah, then he finally does the roll, and he lands right in front of him. He was shot off the balcony the same way Michael Myers... No, I'm not going to go.
Oh, no, dude, you get
In Halloween 2.
Yes. Awesome.
Oh, my God. I can't believe I did it.
That one works.
They both work, Dick Warlock and that.
Good for you, dude. I'm proud of you.
He didn't do a balcony walk off in the original Halloween. It was when they put the ramp on it, and you see him do it in the second one.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was the same thing. And then he goes through the window, and Arnold just stands there like, damn. And you feel that sense of accomplishment.
Oh, because then, again, the score kicks in, and it's like that, and you're like, oh, man, like, now this is it. Like,
and then you hear, Daddy? So you know, like, oh, wait, there's more to do here, you know?
Yeah.
So he goes down into that basement boiler room, whatever, treasure chest place. He finds... Bennett finds Jenny before he does, but it's okay. They confront each other, and before Matrix can really get his bearings of what's going on, he gets shot in the arm. He ducks behind the wall, and then...
I forget what Bennett says. He's like, oh, whatever, and then the Matrix, come over here and find out.
Yeah, come over and find out. No, thanks. Yeah, and he says, no, thanks. He goes, I'll pass, or something like that. And then, he goes, come on, get rid of that chicken shit gun. Don't you want to put the knife in me and look me in the eyes when you turn it and see what's going on inside? Like, come on, let's party.
See what's going on in there when you turn it.
It's so amazing. All these lines are so good.
And then Bennett's just getting more and more turned on.
Yeah, I don't need the gun.
His facial expressions when when Matrix is like taunting him, he is like on the edge of he's about to blow his load.
He is. He's like, I only got one arm. Come on, you could beat me. And he goes, and then he convinces him that he don't need this, he don't need that. There is no reason on Earth to believe that Bennett could beat Matrix in any way, shape, or form, right?
Oh, 100%. It's just, like we were saying earlier, he's now that Bennett is, like, there, and he's got face-to-face, and he's like, oh, I've injured him, so I have an advantage, or so he thinks.
I guess. Yeah.
Yeah, he's probably in his crazy, fucked up mind. He's like, I have training that this guy taught me that I have an advantage, and he's just like but he's also so like clouded by his like, here's my chance. Yeah.
Yeah. And he has the total advantage, throws it all away. Like he even said, but I have an edge. I have his daughter. Right. You know, like he even knew that was his edge, and he still sacrificed it just for some macho bullshit. You know, proving whatever. So they get into this fight. They're doing the knife. You're looking old, John. Meanwhile, dude, he says you're over the hill. It's like, dude, Arnold looks amazing compared to you.
Yeah.
Like, so what does that make you? So it makes zero sense. So they do this whole thing. He slashes his wrist, slashes this, slashes that.
That wrist slash, I never caught that.
No?
Yeah, and I was like, oh, that had to fucking hurt. Like, oh.
Slashes his stomach up.
Yeah.
Then they fall over this edge railing. They land on this. I don't know what they're near. They're near a lot of stuff.
It's like a boiler room.
Boiler room with an electric. It's like the electrical.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, they got the electric fence.
Yeah, the electric fence of whatever the fuck that is. I work in electricity, and I wouldn't know.
I was gonna,
what he was thrown into to give him Frankenstein powers. Like he's thrown into this thing.
Oh my god, his scream is so fucking good.
And Ginny's face when she's looking, she's like this.
She's like.
It was so great. Her look is everything, dude. I love it. And then he just, come on, John. Just like old times. How's it feel to be a dying man? And he's like, bullshit. And he goes into
this feels good.
Yeah. And he goes into this not some montage, but this Van Damme edited.
Yeah, like the double up, like we always talk about. Yeah.
But in this one, it was just like every punch. But the motion of the punch was cut out of it, you know?
Right,
like the swings were cut out.
You don't see which direction it's coming out of.
Bennett's all messed up. Blood's gushing from his face. Somehow he picks up this Uzi again.
He had it, so that was, I paid attention to them. He had it slung around his thing the whole time. Yeah.
Okay, I didn't notice. So then he just gives up and he's just going to shoot Matrix. He goes, I'm not going to shoot you between the eyes. I'm going to shoot you between the balls. And then Matrix rips a pipe, a steaming hot pipe that would scald his hand, off the wall, throws it through Bennett, and it goes into some other something, and steam comes out
Pipe
of it.
or something, yeah. Oh.
And he goes, let off some steam, Bennett.
Fucking perfect.
So how do you feel about this end battle?
This is the one part of the movie I always go 50-50 on.
It's not exactly everything you hoped it would be.
Yeah, especially since like they build up this rivalry between the two of them so well, and just like Bennett's inherent need that he cannot like live without needing to kill Matrix first. Like his passion for it, so to speak, is like you would have thought he would have done way. He would have. I'm trying to think of like a different setting for where this could have taken place on this island or this mansion or whatever.
Are you not crazy about the boy? Because I know you like industrial endings.
I do, but ironically enough, I don't. I think this one kind of takes away from the overall final fight.
Where would you rather have him fight? On the beach at the end, or like
Well, that's the thing. I don't really know because I know that there was an alternate ending for this that they had written, but it was way more elaborate. It was like turned into a boat chase.
Wow.
With the seaplane, and Arnold had to jump from the seaplane onto a boat, and then
always used to that. So yeah.
Yeah, and then and then I forget. I think he impales him on something. So he was getting impaled either way because he got in the other. I'll have to find out. I'll send it to you later. Yeah, I guess I really don't know how I would have done it. I like what we got, of course, and I'm not going to say it's anticlimactic because it's not. It's just I kind of wish just for something a little more elaborate, I guess.
Because let's look back at some of our movies we reviewed. Like, was the Cobra ending that amazing with him and the Night Slasher or whatever his name is?
I mean, I liked it just because putting him on the hook and then throwing him into the.
But that's about it, right? But even that wasn't done right? It was cut short.
A little bit, yeah.
Yes, that wasn't even that amazing.
Yeah, and then Death Warrant was kind of anticlimactic.
We said that too, right?
Yeah.
And then...
Well, it's like, you know what it is? It's almost like these movies are using this location as like a set piece, but they're not using the set pieces to his advantage, you know?
Well, there was the one where he opens the door and the flames are in the boiler.
Oh, they're trying to push each other.
Yeah,
like,
and he looks like the devil when he's like the flames. You see the flames in the background. He's like this, like crazy.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And then when Arnold's time to do it, his face is all mushed. It doesn't even look as cool.
He's like, ugh.
Yeah. There was a lot of that. Then he was like hitting him with that plate and then the pipe.
And then Arnold picking up the pipe to like block it. Yeah, so it definitely is serviceable for what they want. It's just I think I just wanted a little. You know what? Maybe it is for me is like Bennett's actual death. I would have the pipe going through him is cool. Don't get me wrong, but I would have preferred like something kind of more Seagal-ish where he like puts him in a headlock, fucking breaks a part of his bone, stabs him a bunch of fucking times, and then throws him into the fire or some shit while he's still screaming.
But think about that too, though. Like when Seagal killed the guy above the law, that wasn't that great at the end. Remember, it was kind of abrupt. He kills like 8 guys in 30 seconds, and then it's like, wait, it's over, you know?
Right.
So you got that. You got Vernon Trent just goes to the police, get him.
Yeah, right.
So
he just gets arrested.
That wasn't that amazing. And then Screwface kill, that was rewarding. I remember the first one wasn't, but then the second one.
Yeah. So I don't have any issue with it. Like I'm not saying it's anything. It's just even though I can't think of one, I just wish there was something a little more elaborate. But I'm glad with what we got.
It's memorable. I can remember every scene, every moment of it.
Let off some steam is one of the all-time fucking Schwarzenegger quotes.
Yeah. So then it's over. He gets Jenny out of there, carries her out to the seaplane. Cindy's there waiting for them. Can't believe he made it out alive. Then General Franklin Kirby is there. And he goes, do you leave anything for us? He goes, just bodies.
It's funny. When I first watched that, this is like a kid thing. When I was like, I always thought he said just parties.
Just parties.
Yeah, it's like, what was that?
Where are the parties at?
Yeah, what are the parties? Like, yeah, or just parties of bad guys that like he's like leaving Kirby's guys to go, like, yeah, these are the easy guys. Yeah, no, just bodies is good though, which is true because he kills literally every motherfucker on this island.
Everybody. Yeah, he is a mass murderer, dude. It is insane. Then he says, then he gets to leave.
Well, also the best part is though, Kirby's like instantly, I want to restart your unit again, John. I really want you to come back.
Right.
And it's like, this guy in the beginning told you he's done, and you said you know that. His daughter just got kidnapped. He had to go through all this bullshit to get her back. Your first thing, I want you to come back.
Because that's what he's dying to get back into this after this little escapade.
Right, yeah. Jenny, this Cindy can watch you, right? I gotta go back to the military.
Here, Jenny, hang out with this random flight stewardess that
right.
you don't know, and she's like, who are you? She embraces Jenny like, hey, how you doing? Yeah, I heard.
Yeah, like they've known each other.
Yeah. But he goes, no chance. Da-na-na, da-na. Like, this is one of the all-time great musical endings, right?
I love this fucking song.
It's just perfect. This is why I love Arnold. Listen, I love Conan, and I watched that as a kid. I love Conan the Destroyer. I've watched that 50 times. As a kid, my dad said I used to watch Conan the Destroyer like virtually like every day for like almost 2 years. He says you were obsessed with Conan the Destroyer. Yeah,
Destroyer's the sequel, right?
Yeah, that's the weird one.
I've never seen the second one.
Oh.
I know.
We have to do that, dude.
I'm in.
It's great. Listen, everyone says it's a step down. It is, technically.
It can be a step down, but if it's still a fucking great movie.
Yeah, it's still great. It's like this kind of great.
I'll check it out. Yeah.
All right, so how many Green Berets are you eating for breakfast out of 5 for Commando? Ghoul?
So this is a fucking fantastic Schwarzenegger movie. It is realistically the Schwarzenegger movie, aside from Terminator 2. But this is like the one that like this is where Schwarzenegger becomes the name.
Yeah.
It's like he fucking kills it, pun intended. It's just the one-liners are just fucking nailed like perfectly. There's not like there's some cheese, but like it's still fucking fantastic. The villains are awesome. You remember each of them, no matter even if they're just the guy getting killed on the plane to fucking kook. And it's also, this is a huge nostalgia thing, but I don't give a fuck. This movie, for me, I'm eating 5 Green Berets out of 5.
Yeah! Yeah, because he's very hungry.
I'm very hungry.
So, yeah, no, this is undeniable. Listen, I don't know or care if this is a technically good movie or anything like that. I don't care what the rest of the world thinks in that sense. Like, I'm not going to be like, oh, well, it seems everybody doesn't think it's great, so maybe I'm wrong. No. I know what my life's journey was and what impacted me in my life and what changed my life and what sent me in paths that were nothing but rewarding and fun and magic every time. I know what shaped me as a child and what stuck out to me as greatness as a kid and the impressions that were left in me. And so, no, this is a 5 out of 5 Green Berets for breakfast, dude.
Nice.
So, yeah. Wow. This is the biggest review we've ever done in the history of the show, and it was only 2 of us. That is mind-boggling. But, yeah, that just goes to show you, you know?
It's fucking great.
Yeah, great time doing just a show with you, Ghoul.
Ooh, I felt this felt like me trying to get my daughter back from a dictator in Valverde. The odds were against me, but I feel like I managed to make it.
Yeah, no, yeah, you did it. Yeah, as everyone knows, Ghoul never really podcasted at all until he went to Dead Man's Party, and so this is your first show with just one other person, where you had so much more on you, and I think, dude, you knocked it so far out of the park. I think Pedro Serrano would be jealous.
I didn't even fucking need Joe Boo.
You didn't even need Joe Boo. All right, guys, that was Commando 1985. Me and the Ghoul. See you next week. Oh, and Chris will be back next week.